Hi guys, I thought I'd come on here and just hopefully brighten your week by giving you something a little that brightens mine and helps me to get out of those down days or whatever that we're having, because some of us can have quite a few of them depending on the day or depending on what we're going through. I hear it over and over and over again on Facebook about how sucky people's days are, and I figured maybe I would kind of tell you a little bit what helps mine. So with all the things that I go through and stuff, I have had to seriously learn how to figure out what helps me. I mean, I've got everything that anybody could ever hope for. I've got a good family, I've got a good husband, I've got kids, I've got a home, I have vehicles, I have a job, everything that anybody could, hope for, the normal for somebody, hopefully. And everybody, I've heard people say, well, I don't understand how you can feel and think the way that you do sometimes when you have like the perfect life. And I'm like, well, that's great. Yeah, I do. Like, I have not a perfect life, but I have a good life. I've been blessed with many wonderful things and stuff. But then it's like, I sit back and I'm like, well, why can't I have a good day today then? Why am I still being ungrateful? Why am I still complaining about things and being negative about things when I have all these different things surrounding me on a daily basis to make me happy, something that I should be grateful for? Okay, so through the times that I've had some many huge boulders that I've had to figure out how to get rid of. I've had many trauma things that I've had to work through and still working through. And I have a long road ahead of me. And so lots of the time I get super overwhelmed when I think about all of the hard things that I've had to go through. And I get super overwhelmed when I think about that I still have this continuing path where it's not going to get easy. It's going to get harder and harder and harder. But I have to tell myself and remind myself that, hey, like, it's going to get better. So sometimes when I get in my just awful, and I can get pretty in the lowest of lows where everybody around me either irritates me, angers me, frustrates me, or I just start crying for no reason. What I have started to learn how to do with myself, and guys, this is super, super easy. It's like, why didn't I think of this a long time ago? My biggest thing for me, and the people that know me really, really well, is I love to laugh. Seriously, I love to laugh. I can get super hyper and silly and funny and happy, and I love getting a response and reaction out of people. I will say the most dumbest, silly things, and my friends will be like, where in the world did that come from? Oh my gosh, Lisa. And it just makes me laugh and laugh and laugh. Another thing is I'm grateful that my husband and I have the same personality, or I'd be in big trouble, because I will turn on the most dumbest shows, like even people going up by somebody and making a fake fart. That makes me laugh. And yes, I'm a girl and it's probably improper, but I don't care. It makes me laugh. So one night I remember my husband he was upstairs, and we have this thing called Chromecast. So you could be watching like Netflix or YouTube or something, and somebody from the phone, if they're upstairs, can change the show that somebody else is watching. Well, that was making me mad that he was doing that, because I was getting ready for one of my work parties at my house. And I was working really hard, and I was getting frustrated because people weren't coming. And I was super, super upset because I wanted it to be a great turnout. And so my anger and my sadness and my depression was getting really bad. And I was like, I am an awful person. Just a moment, Nikki. Nobody's gonna come tonight. And so all of a sudden he keeps changing the station on the TV after I had our little presentation set up. And I was getting so mad, and I kept yelling at him to stop it. Well, then all of a sudden he starts putting on this thing. It's called Humor Bagel. Now, don't judge me, okay? But he put on this thing, and I had never seen it or heard it before, but I was doing fake fart sounds. And this guy was going up to people and farting in front of them and getting a response. And that made me laugh so blasted hard. Like, all of a sudden, that anger and that bitterness and that sadness and the depression that was sinking in and just feeling like wanting to give up and cry and run to my room and lock myself in there, it started to go away really, really quickly. And I kind of sat there and I thought in my mind, I'm like, holy cow, that little bit of a thing of just watching somebody be really dumb on YouTube and laugh about something made me laugh so hard. I forgot about all the stuff that I was angry and suffering with. And it took it right away, changed my attitude, helped me to be positive the rest of the night. And then guess what? Another day, I ended up feeling the exact same way. And I was frustrated, I was upset, and I'm like sitting here cursing God even, saying, why do I have to go through so many blasted things over and over and over again where I'm struggling? Can't you make it any easier for me? Well, I didn't hear anything back because I was so angry. So then again, I remembered that moment of my husband turning on the Chromecast to that farting show. And I was like, I'm going to turn that on. I'm going to see if that works again. So then I go ahead and I turn it on and I start laughing again. And I'm laughing so hard. And I continue. I stopped working and I continue watching it, and I could sit there and watch it and watch it and watch it. And I tried it again another day and another day and another day and watched different things that made me laugh. And I was able to figure out how to kind of swap that negative energy, that depressive mood. And no, guys, I'm not saying it's easy, but oh, I love that. You sing? Yes. And I love listening to music really, really loud. I create a playlist, my most favorite songs, and I blare it from the rooftops. Well, let me tell you something super funny about me, okay? And none of you, seriously, there's very few of you that know this about me, so stay tuned to listen because this is crazy. I've stolen a car before. Ooh. Yeah. And the police officers that are watching this, don't be worried because it was not intentional. Okay. But back then when this happened when I was 17, I ended up, I was so scared. I was terrified. I was upset because I was like, yeah. Okay. So let me tell you this story and then I'll let you know where I'm going with this. So quite a few years ago when I was living out on my own and I had a roommate and we were living in an apartment together. I worked at Village Inn as a waitress. And because I left home, my parents took my car away. Oh, I know, whatever. They took my car away. And so I had no way of getting back to the apartment. And it was dark and late at night, so I couldn't walk back to the apartment. It was a little bit too far for me to do that by myself. So my friend, my roommate, was not going to be getting done with work for quite a while. And so I'm like having to hold it really still so it keeps connection. Here we go. Anyway, so she wasn't going to get off work for quite a while. And so she's like, here's my car keys, take the car home. Then when I get off, I will call you and you can come pick me up. I was like, okay. So anyway, so I got in the car and all I noticed was that it was super, super clean. I looked back there, I was like, wow, she actually cleaned her car. This is huge. She even put a little air freshener on the vent and stuff. And that's all I noticed. So I drove to our apartment and probably about an hour later, she called me and I'm like, wow, you're off work early. And she's like, Lisa, the cops are here at Village Inn and you need to come back. You took somebody else's car. And I'm like, ha, 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 funny. And fear starts to set in. I'm like ready to seriously throw up in my mouth because I had taken somebody else's car. And I was still waiting for her to tell me that it wasn't true, that she was just joking. So I kept sitting there. And she's like, Lisa, seriously, come bring the car back to the restaurant. The police are here. And I was like, I'm going to get arrested. This is going to be a felony. And I was like freaking out. I wanted to just die. And I had friends over and everything. I was like, could you take the car back, please? And they're like, well, if we take the car back, they might come question you. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So it took me like 20 minutes. And she kept calling me saying, get your butt over here. These guys want their car back. So I'm like, oh crap. So I get to the restaurant. And of course, everybody, all my buddies that work there and everything were laughing their butts off. But I was like mortified. I was so embarrassed and so upset that I had accidentally taken somebody's car. And so then these guys come out that own the car and they're like, what the heck were you thinking? I'm sitting here thinking in my brain, I'm so pissed off. I'm like, seriously? Like, you're getting angry at me? Like, whose freaking car key is supposed to fit the same car? It opened just fine. It wasn't like I was trying to like, you know, fit something into something that wasn't fitting. And it went easily into the ignition. I drove it without any problem. The cops were astonished. They were like, these vehicles are made not to like match anything else. Cause I mean, then everybody could steal cars. So back then, and I could not live that down at Village Inn. Like everybody kept laughing and laughing, and it was embarrassing for the longest time. But now I can look back at it and seriously enjoy telling the story. That it's so hilarious and funny, and people love listening to the story because it's not a usual thing that happens. So where I'm getting at with this is there's so many things in life that seem hopeless, awful, and feel like that it just can break us apart, okay? And it makes us to the point where we can't budge, we can't move. We might even lose our identity. We might not even remember or wonder who we are or what we stand for, or what we even like anymore in life. That motivation and excitement can go at the drop of a hat. But being able to remember things and finding out things that make you laugh, that make you happy, that give you joy, even in your hardest moments, means that you're super strong. You're super brave. You're super amazing to be able to do that. Today may suck, but that doesn't mean that tomorrow's going to too. So I look back at this story, and I've had so much laughter and so much fun sharing the story with other people that, like, even at our Christmas party that we just had, we sat there and laughed. Everybody's like, you're telling a story. I'm like, yeah, it's my story. It's funny. I own it. This is funny. So remember, own what you are. Own what you have. Because we got to be super excited that we're given these bodies, we're given these personalities that sometimes for some of us might be buried deep down inside our souls and might be pretty dirty and dusty and with anger and frustration and sadness, depression, mental illness, whatever it might be. But it doesn't mean that it should debilitate us from who we really are deep down inside. So yeah, people can see that outside of me. For the longest time, people always saw that outside of me that was always had a scowl on my face. People would always ask me, sadly to say, if I was like pissed off or angry. And then I'd be like, okay, I got to look in the mirror and try and see what my face looks like, maybe to other people. And I could never figure out what people were saying. But the thing is laughter can kill anything. It can make anything better. It seriously does. There's this quote that says, I don't like crying because crying gives me a headache. So I laugh. Well, in my family, we laugh about everything. We laugh about chucking things at each other. We laugh about poking each other and things like that. And we think it's hilarious. We throw a snowball at each other. We think it's hilarious. You know, one of the kids has gas or something. We think it's hilarious. The thing is learn how to laugh about things rather than getting angry and upset about things. It is seriously the most curable thing in the world. That and love. Those two things, if you try your really hardest, no matter what it is, to use it on a daily basis, it can make you laugh. Let's thank those people that are brave enough to get on YouTube and do those silly, stupid things so that the rest of us can laugh and be made to feel better. But when if you're having a hard day, yes, I'm sitting in my driveway stinky. When you are having a hard day, try looking up something on YouTube. Try listening to your favorite song and then really focus. I'm serious, okay? This is stupid, but do it because it's easy. Focus on what that feeling is that comes to you when you're listening to your favorite song. And realize, oh my gosh, I'm not as angry as I was before. I'm not as upset as I was before. Or maybe even watch one of those humor bagels on YouTube because they're super funny. So anyways, that's how I get myself out of the blues. And there are days where I am just stubborn enough that I'm like, I just want to be angry and upset today. And I have to tell myself, okay, Lisa, that's stupid. Like, knock it off. Get off your moping butt and go watch one of your fart shows and you will laugh. Good luck, guys. Have fun.